G'day mate, 40 here. So did I tell you about how I came to Los Angeles with big dreams? I was going to make it big as an actor and a model, and it didn't turn out the way I expected. So there's an article about a bloke named Andrew Truelove in the Los Angeles Times today. You'd never believe it, but he came to Los Angeles with big dreams and a string of felony convictions, a mood disorder, no friends or family. But he came to California to launch a startup. Apparently it didn't work out too well, and he's now homeless and applying for social welfare benefits. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that that would happen, man? I thought if you come to a place with big dreams that then you're just guaranteed that everything's going to really work out. So it kind of reminds me of people who arrive on YouTube wanting to be thought leaders. Okay, so at my age, I'm 57, right? I don't know a lot of people who want to make it as actors and models. Right, what people in my peer group want to do is they want to become thought leaders and host podcasts. But apparently many people arrive on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts with big dreams of becoming influencers and thought leaders. And they'll do photo shoots and they'll buy promotions. Right, and they'll invest in quality professional videography, but doesn't always, usually doesn't work out. But you know, what kind of person really wants to be a thought leader, right? Anyone who regards themselves as a thought leader is obviously a charlatan. So I really like the way that Decoding the Gurus breaks everything down. That gurus and thought leaders are trying to lay a tapestry of meaning over the world, and they're usually trying to move from one particular expertise, such as the Alexander technique. So I think the Alexander technique is incredibly powerful. I feel like, wow, this is a great way, you know, of improving your life, clarifying your thinking, providing a more graceful and efficient way of moving through life, letting go of unnecessary muscular tension and compression. So if I wanted to become a thought leader or a guru out of that, I'd have to harness that and show its universal applicability. So I'd apply the Alexander technique to Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and the Alexander technique. And the Alexander technique can explain Joe Biden's inflation. But I mean, think about the chutzpah, think about the narcissism required to wanting to be a thought leader. Now almost nobody who sets out to be a thought leader ever accomplishes that. Just like, you know, for every 100,000 people who move to LA to become an actor without any relevant experience, like only, you know, 1 in 100,000 makes it to any degree. But you have to have these preternatural levels of self-confidence, meaning narcissism, and very easily develops into a cult where you're being suppressed. All right, hey, my acting career, guys, it was suppressed by the Hollywood gay mafia just because I wouldn't blow the right blokes. My acting career was held down, but now that Elon Musk is in charge of Twitter, and maybe I've got a fair dinkum chance. Maybe I'll no longer be suppressed by these dark powers anymore. So you'll notice with every thought leader and guru, they have a tale of grievance. So Dennis Prager, this is also classic. Dennis Prager is constantly boasting about how many views Prager University gets, even though almost all their views are bought through marketing that plays ads in your Twitter and Facebook feeds and has the PragerU videos running in your feeds, and so that counts as views. So they're buying the views. Then you'll see with almost all thought leaders, pundits, gurus, how they man, that guy almost hit me. They're always boasting about their likes and retweets and views. So Prager's always talking about, you know, how many people view PragerU videos. Okay, and so, oh wow, you know, this video's got 100,000 views already. It's only been out 7 hours, and now it's got 750,000 views. And back in the day, you used to be able to look at the video statistics for an individual video on YouTube, and you'd see with PragerU videos that they'd have almost no videos, and then 100,000 in 24 hours, and then 110,000 the next 24 hours, and then no views. So if they bought the views, paid for the views, you know, marketed the views with PragerU videos, you know, running in your feed, counting as views, then they could get this enormous number of views. So with almost all gurus and thought leaders, they boast about their viewership. Right? And Dennis Prager does this. Like PragerU's had over 6 billion views. Simultaneously, they're absolutely convinced that they're being denied their rightful place in the universe. Right? They're being suppressed by dark and malevolent forces like the establishment, right? The liberal left establishment, the media, the academics, big tech, big government, big bureaucracy, all aligned against it. So they simultaneously boast about their reach, their influence, the number of views they get, their ratings, their likes and retweets, and simultaneously they're bewailing how they are being suppressed and they're being denied what's rightfully theirs, that they truly deserve a Nobel Prize, like Brett Weinstein and Eric Weinstein and company, believe they're all deserving of Nobel Prizes. So they're like hyper attentive and hyper vigilant about any signs of success and very, very quick to trumpet any signs of success, but also absolutely convinced that dark forces are suppressing them and holding them down. So Dennis Prager simultaneously boasts about the over 6, 7, 8 billion views PragerU gets on YouTube. Also combines that with suing YouTube for suppressing his videos. Right? And he lost that lawsuit. And he released a documentary, No Safe Spaces, with Adam Carolla, all about the ways that the left suppresses speech, but completely ignoring the ways that the right suppresses speech. So, from Andrew Truelove, right, with a string of felony convictions, psychological disorders, no friends or family in California, but moves here to launch a Silicon Valley in a startup and finds himself homeless. Right, so too, thought leaders, wannabe thought leaders, also have these grave misunderstandings of reality. And I don't know how anyone who thoroughly works the 12 steps can have the delusions of these gurus. But you do in some of the money programs and in some of the sex and love programs. Right, you meet people absolutely thirsty for applause, thirsty to be thought leaders in particular, to be gurus. And one thing I've noticed, when people enter a 12-step program with the intention of trying to use that 12-step program to accomplish their goals, such as becoming a thought leader or launching their podcasting business, or selling their screenplay or directing a movie, or doing any of these prestigious high status, highly unlikely to financially pay off endeavors. When people try to use the 12-step program to assist them, I'll just go to AA or Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous or Owners Anonymous or Debtors Anonymous, and just try to use that to help me accomplish my goals. It never seems to work out that way. But when people allow the program to use them and to shift them, then I see success. But that means acknowledging that you have a problem, that you're out of touch with reality, that you have certain compulsions that you can't control, that you're in certain destructive habits, and recognition of your own helplessness in the face of your own compulsions. You would think that would sober you up so that you can't take on the grandiose narcissistic delusions that you have the ability to lay a tapestry of meaning over the universe and teach other people that. Also, if you work a thorough 4th step and look at the significant role that you played in your own troubles, it would be really hard to sustain this overwhelming delusion among almost all thought leaders and gurus that the outside world is suppressing and holding them back from the true acclaim and status that really belongs to them, and that there are dark, sinister forces operating all around them who are denying them the glory that properly belongs to them. For me, when I worked the 4th step the first time, I just saw overwhelmingly how I'd been the primary cause of my own troubles. That I'd stepped on the toes of others and they'd retaliated, and then that led to a downward spiral of retaliation, recrimination, falling out with people, and then starting to make amends for all the harm you've done. I would think that would knock someone off the pedestal. So for to me, part of 12-step recovery was recovering from this need to be a thought leader, to be a guru, to be the all-seeing wise man like my father, the preacher daddy. And Russell Brand is the only person I can think of among the prominent gurus who has worked the 12 steps and seems to have done it in a fairly thorough way. But he still fits very much the archetype of the secular guru. So just hanging out here on Rodeo Drive, this intersection with Wilshire. So even blokes in regional Australia, I find, know about Rodeo Drive. But I want to explore it in more depth. Like what goes on with thought leaders, and how do they so lose touch with reality? And what can possibly bring someone back? Because once people buy into this narrative of victimhood, conspiracy theorizing, they almost never come back out of it.